शॉर्ट बॉल पे ये शॉट कौन खेलता है यार? अगर मैं होता ना बस बॉल को देखता और शानदार।
खुद को एक्सपर्ट समझते हो तो खेलो प्लेयर स्पॉट पर लोएस्ट एंट्री फी में।
इस गेम में फाइनेंशियल रिस्क है और लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से खेलें और अपनी रिस्क पे खेलें।
Ashwin, having been a part of a few bio bubbles over the last 6 months, have you felt mental fatigue at all? And if yes, how have you kind of gotten over it?
Look, the first part of my tour to Australia, my family, I mean, not first part, the whole Australian tour, my family was with me. And even during the IPL, I got them over for the second half of the tournament. But this tour, not got them here because I've used rotation policy and left them at home so that they get a break. But I think without them around, it can be incredibly hard. Yes, we get larger hotel spaces. You know, we do get our entertainment area. We bond much better. One thing that I must say is standing out is the fact that because of this bio bubble, the players are getting together more often than what it was ever in the past. So I think the team bonding is like gotten better. But I am also sure that a lot of people feel a little bit of boredom and feeling lonely and all that. It'll be nice if they come out and seek some help. But for me to manage it has been mostly around watching stuff on online, reading books, and also doing a little bit of yoga and meditation and stuff.
Ashwin, congratulations on your 400th wicket, a landmark, and you've already spoken about it. I just want to know 619 Anil Kumble. Are you looking at that record still, or it's still a long way to go for you?
I mean, if you look at it pragmatically, it's 218 wickets away. But for me, I stopped thinking about all those landmarks and all long time ago. It's been about what I can do, how I can get better, what more can I offer to the team. Because every time you come back into this setup, especially now that I'm playing only Test cricket and not playing the other formats, it's very important for me to come back with something that I can offer to the team every single time. So I'm looking to get better as an individual and as a cricketer every single day, not looking at what's lying ahead. That's probably one of the reasons why I'm really happy and enjoying my game at probably the best I have done in the last 15 years. So I'd like to continue this phase, not think about anything else ahead of me.
Ashwin, massive congratulations to you for your 400th wicket, and I wish that you reach the double figure in double quick time. Well, my question really is about the tweets that you sent out yesterday. I think your fans and a lot of people who follow you want to know a little more. Would you like to shed some light?
Was it really cryptic?
It was very cryptic.
I'm really surprised because I went through my timeline and I found it had a lot of quote tweets and retweets. If people didn't understand, I don't know what on earth they were doing, quote tweeting and retweeting it. Look, I think it's very simple. I've always wanted to talk about this at some stage, but I thought it was very pertinent because if if some of us went to a shop and you want to buy a product, I'll just ask you a question, Rika. What do you do if somebody introduces new toothpaste or soap or something?
Well, I actually evaluate it. I mean, I am a person who Googles a lot, and I kind of.
Fine. Would you give it a test? Would you?
For buying, I make my own decision. Yeah.
Correct, but you would obviously. Yeah, you would obviously buy it and then decide whether you like it or not, right?
Not necessarily. I could probably evaluate even before buying.
Oh, that's wonderful to know because that's exactly what I want people to do. Because these are at least products. You can at the most you can go wrong by buying them and finding out they are bad or good. But I think with respect to thoughts being put across and planted to people is something that's really, I find it extremely hilarious and heinous to a point where you have a thought process and you want everybody to follow that and want to think that and also make it a conditioning. Because with thoughts, what happens is you condition people to believing in a certain way. So you watch a match, you watch India win the game. At most, everybody is saying, "Hey, I'm happy. India won the game. It's a great feeling." But you don't want people to go back home and say, "India is not winning the game, yeah. It's the pitch that's winning the game." So that's not what I want people to do. And I know anyway that's going to come up. And these are conditioning that's happening, and it's happened for a long time. When are we even going to wake up to it? I think it's important that people sell things, but we must know what we must buy.
Hi, Ashwin. Just taking an extension, about the thoughts control on the narrative. There are people, ex-cricketers from 80s or 90s. They have their own set of agendas. They speak what they feel like. But does it hurt when there is a Yuvraj Singh with whom you have shared the dressing room he can just pick up a call and speak to you. But the way they say 800 wickets, 1500 wickets, saying things based on probably hypothetical calculations, does it hurt you? Because these are people who have played with you. They were in the part of the dressing room. They're not like a fan on the street when they comment like that.
Okay. Look, the reason behind my tweets were definitely not in context with anybody in particular. And when I read Uvipa's tweet, I actually didn't get affected at all, to be honest, because I didn't find like he was, telling us anything or trying to suggest or anything. It just felt like a really, really plain tweet of saying these people were good and whatever, however you want to perceive it. But for me, the state of mind I am in right now, I didn't find it to be, anything wrong or anything, what to say, an agenda driven or nothing like that. I know Uvipa for a very, very long time and I have the utmost respect for him. But with respect to your agenda driven thoughts and all that, this is exactly what my tweets were meaning. Some of us or some people amongst us tend to buy the stuff that people sell. And I do not know the reason behind why certain people sell certain things. But it's clear. It's just a perception of what happens, and for me, I want to protect, or at least I want to try and put it out there that people who know me or who watching me talk at least realize that without their knowledge, they are actually being hypnotized to believing what they are buying.
Hi Ashwin, congrats on the landmark.
Thank you.
You think this has been your best phase ever? In terms of contributing with the ball and bat, and wherever different phases of the match.
I would probably say this is probably one of the best phases in terms of the awareness I have about my own skill, what I need to be doing at different phases of the game, the ability to execute what I would like to think. Sometimes you want to execute something, but you're not there. You're quite off the mark by a little few, centimeters or inches, which make a massive difference in this sport. So it's a contribution of a lot of things. I can't put my finger and say this is why it is happening. The awareness of the game, the understanding of the game, things that I pick up, small cues that I watch, all these things are just coming together, and I'm very, very blessed and thankful for the fact that it's coming together at this point of time. And I'd like to continue and stick the sort of work that I've put in through the lockdown for the next whatever years I will have left ahead of me.
Yeah, congratulations, Ashwin, for your wonderful feat.
Thanks, God.
What I wanted to ask you was that having just achieved this landmark in a test match, which finishes like this, and then there's so much controversy around the pitch. Do you feel hurt that?
Now, what is this?
Sorry.
What is this? I didn't get your this.
What I'm trying to say is that you've just achieved such a big landmark, and then there's this talk around the pitch. So does that sort of hurt you that the focus is taken away from the player's performance and his feet, whether it's you or Akshar, and all the talk is about the pitch rather than the skills of the players. So do you sort of feel sort of disturbed by that it's at the end of the day it's a contest between batter and ball which should be talked about?
I'm absolutely not disturbed with things being taken away from the context, because this is what's been happening for the last decade, and if not more. And that is why I put out the tweets that I did yesterday. I think people need to get the context of what's happening here. There have been some people who messaged me and said match is finished in 2 days, and what about all the 3 pink ball test matches that we've played? Everything is ended within 3-day time, and I do not want to know what to say, because when somebody just throws an opinion out there about a surface, and having had to play the game, unfortunately maybe they have not played the pink ball test matches, so they do not understand this facet of the game. But I would say my angst against the whole thing is the fact that when people say something, there are so many other people who are watching the same picture but are not able to paint a different one compared to somebody who is driving a certain case and selling a certain case to us, and this needs to stop.
A couple of questions from the English press. John Etheridge and then Tim Wigmore.
Hi, yes. I was wondering again about the pitch. Do you think it was a good pitch for Test cricket, third Test, and do you expect or do you hope for a similar surface for the next Test match?
I have a question back. What is a good cricket surface? Who defines it? Who defines it?
I'm the one asking the question, but I was thinking.
No, because I think the question is asked with a
contest between bat and ball.
No. Yes, of course. The bowler was in the game. The batsman needs to bat well to get runs. There is absolutely no question about it. What makes a good surface? Who defines this? seam on the first day, then bat well, and then spin on the last 2 days? Come on, who makes all these rules? We need to get over it and not talk about whatever picture we want to paint. And if you're asking whether it's a good test surface, I don't see any of the players coming in from England having an issue with the surface. They want to improve. They look like they want to have a contest. Is it the players and the people who are reporting back that want their players to not compete and complain about the pitches? Because we've never done that in any of the tours.
Okay. And in that case, are you hoping for similar surface in the next test match?
It depends on what you're hoping for. We hope for a good cricket match.
Now, team.
I think most people would hope for a good cricket match.
Of course, that's what you should be hoping for, not about the surface.
Hi, Ashwin. Your 2 wickets have already poked in both innings of the last test. Both fantastic big pieces of bowling. Can you give a bit of insight into your thought processes and how you set up those wickets, please?
Look, I think Ollie Pope's someone who's probably a really fine player who's coming through the ranks. I've watched a lot of footage of how he goes about his things. He likes to use his feet. He uses reverse sweep and sweep. So for me, it is about what shot he's coming after. He positions himself to play a certain few shots well ahead of what is being planted and when you're putting a field in place. So I'm trying to pick a fair few cues about how side on and how front on he opens up to play a certain way. So for me, using the angles is to turn around him into a certain fashion and then try and get both sides of the edge. So if I'm able to spin one back, he's probably ready for the one that's going to come back to him. Now he might wait for the one that's going to go straight on. So these are things that I keep in mind. And truth be told, I think both were really, really good deliveries. I saw it again and I thought, okay, I'm lucky enough that I didn't get them when I was batting.
And just generally, how many balls in advance are you sort of planning how to set up a batsman?
Just the way he presents his case when I'm starting to bowl. If I'm starting to bowl, if I see someone, it's not like I have preconceived notions of what the batsman's going to try and do. I have a fair amount of idea, but how he approaches when I start my bowling and what sort of shots he's looking to play, all these things as I'm gauging, I try and make a plan and see if I can make him uncomfortable as soon as he comes to the crease.
Hi Ashwin. Obviously this pink ball test was played in very different conditions than the last in India. Rohit and Joe Root have spoken about the pace of the wicket from this pink ball. It was difficult to play rather than the spin on the ball. So what were your takeaways as a bowler from this test?
Now look, even before I started the game in the nets, we were a little skeptical as a spin group. I mean, not as a spin group, I'll just talk for myself. But when I did bowl, the balance of the ball seemed very different to that of the red ball. When you tried and put a lot of revs, I think it probably wasn't rotating as much on the seam as I thought the red ball was rotating. So clearly the chance of it catching the glossy surface was far greater. And if at all it caught the seam, it was spinning quite big at times. It was not really responding the way the red ball might respond. Whatever was happening a little quicker off the surface. So I think it did make a difference. If we had played the red ball game on the same surface, I think the pace of the game might have been a touch slower. But these are all things that I'm talking about in hindsight. Only if we had done it, we'll know it.
Actually, it was the same question I was asking. You said that the pink ball test matches get over quite early, like 3 days, 4 days. So is it the ball, as in for a batsman who's so used to playing the red ball and suddenly he's facing the pink ball, be it pace or spin? Is that one of the main reasons that the matches get early? Over early?
It could be, but look, honestly, if you give a little bit of favor stacked towards the bowlers, this is what might happen, because the ball, a little bit of advantage towards the bowlers, it starts to swing more, it seems more, and the margin of error for the batter is so much more little. Instead of the ball beating the bat or probably getting a thick outside edge, it ends up getting the fine edge and goes behind to the keeper. So these are things that we've noticed, and it happened even at the Eden Gardens when we played Bangladesh. It could very well be spoken about how we really played well in that game and won that game and all that. But that's been the nature of the pink ball test. Even the one in New Zealand where England got all out for 59 and we got all out in Australia for 36. All these things are, if you look at the larger picture of test cricket, you might say these are just one-off occasions, but these are a regular affair in pink ball tests.
Ashwin, just to pitch in more with the pink ball issue. One is, do you think it's better to have the pink ball test if it has to be held at the start or end of a series rather than squeezing it midway through it? And has the team as a group collectively expressed apprehension to the board over playing the pink ball test?
There is no apprehension. If there is apprehension, then we can probably express it. There is no apprehension as such for the pink ball test. I think it's a completely new sort of a facet that's being introduced into the game. We are used to playing with the red ball. Everybody, like I said, has been conditioned to playing with the red ball, and now all of a sudden they've brought in the pink ball, and the pink ball is bringing new dimensions to the game. So it's about adapting. If you play more and more and obviously get used to it, the players are going to adapt better for the good. Even it's the same thing with one-day cricket, right? We were playing with red ball for a long period of time, then we shifted to the white ball. Initially, the white ball was doing a lot more. Now it literally does nothing. So that's how this format will also evolve, because people are trying to understand what works with the pink ball, what doesn't, how to adapt, and all these sort of stuff. Anything new is going to throw a lot of challenges, but that's the beauty of the sport.
So can you hear me, Ashwin?
Yes, I can.
Now my question is a extension of that question. Is there any issue with the visibility of the pink ball or the way it's skidded?
I don't think there was any issue with the sighting of the pink ball as such. The way it skidded is how it skidded, because if for example, I can't really explain, but a small few microseconds makes such a huge difference in the game, and if it's going to skid on like even a fraction of a second quicker, it's the difference between hitting the inside edge and hitting the pad. So it is quite different. Sometimes the batsman can be caught the bat behind the pad because the ball skidded faster than what you've been used to the red ball skidding. So to make an adjustment within the span of probably 5-6 days is not so easy. But the more we play, I think the players will get better at it.
Going forward to the fourth test, it's not so either you have to like win the game or like draw the game. So how are you going to approach this game?
We played with an intent to win the game most often, and that's what we speak about as a group. And there are going to be no changes. We'll only look to win the game. You never go into a game looking for a draw, or for a safer option. So we will look to win the game and prepare accordingly, practice accordingly, and also train accordingly.
Hi Ashwin, congratulations on the 400 wicket milestone. I just wanted to know your perspective. Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma have openly talked about that the batting was below par from both the sides in the third test match. I just wanted to know that blaming the pitch, do you think that blaming the pitch is an easy resort rather than introspecting and blaming your own batting? Because a lot of former cricketers, English cricketers I might say, have criticized the pitch. Do you think the whole point of cricket is that there needs to be a contest between bat and ball? So if there is a match in which bowlers have a slightly upper hand, so what is the problem in that? And do you think there needs to be introspection about the batting rather than blaming the pitch?
Okay, that's quite a long question. Look, I think I've said this in the past also. I think everybody is entitled to their opinion, and I'm not here to say your opinion is wrong or your opinion is right. But the fact remains that the talk around the surface is just getting out of hands. Yeah, because why would you talk about surface and sell that to us time in and time out? Is there been any instance where the surface has been spoken about when any other place, any other country we played games in? It is. I don't know if I somehow find it very, very funny that when they speak about the surface, it immediately gets quoted all over in our press. And that is the issue here, because there have been instances when we went to New Zealand, both tests got over within 5 days. A total of 5 days for 2 test matches. And now nobody quoted it. And there is a video that's doing the rounds where Virat in South Africa is saying, I'm not here to talk about the pitch and I'm not comforting my boys with regards to that. And that is how we've been taught to play cricket, and I don't know why we indulge such thoughts and promote such thoughts, and that's why I say let them sell it. Buying is always our choice.
What are your thoughts on the quality of the SG pink ball as compared to the Kookaburra that you played, and are they different from each other in terms of how they react to the?
You mean the SG pink ball and the Kookaburra pink ball? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I don't think there is enough sample size to be able to compare both, because I played only a grand 2 days of pink ball cricket with the Kookaburra and the same with the SG. So the surfaces have been different conditions, different dynamics to the ball. But I think what I realized with the pink ball in Australia was that it definitely aided more bounce and pace off the surface than the red one, and here also it is the same. It offered more bounce and pace off the pitch than the red ball would, and that's probably due to the lacquer that's been that's in the ball, and also probably the slightly more prouder seam that both these pink balls have. And I can't really differentiate much at this point of time, and I think I'll have a very few sample size in my hand even when I'm done. I don't think there are going to be that many matches that I can talk about.
अश्विन, बैट्समैन के लिए जैसे मिडिल ऑफ द बैट बॉल जाना ये इम्पोर्टेंट रहता है, वैसे बॉलर के लिए खास करके स्पिनर के लिए बॉल हाथ से जो दिल में है वैसे निकलना ये कितना इम्पोर्टेंट रहता है, क्योंकि राइट नाउ यू आर डूइंग बोथ बैटिंग बॉलिंग, यू आर मिडलिंग एवरीथिंग.
थैंक यू ललित सर. आई टेक इट एज अ कॉम्प्लीमेंट. बट जैसे बैट्समैन को बोलता है कि फॉर्म में है, बैट से अच्छा बॉल निकल रहा है, वैसे ही बॉलर को भी हाथ से अच्छा टूटना है बॉल. इट नीड्स टू कम आउट रियली वेल. सो वो जो है वो फील है, वो प्रैक्टिस से नहीं बनता है. वो प्रैक्टिस आप कितना भी करोगे, वो मैच में आके वो करने में बहुत फ़र्क है. सो मैच टाइम इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अ स्पिनर. सो मेरा जो टाइम मिला है ये कोविड के बाद और जो मैचेस मिला वो सब एक साथ यू नो इट्स गोइंग टुगेदर. आईपीएल में भी ज़्यादा बॉलिंग किया मैंने और उसके पहले भी सारे बॉल के साथ बॉलिंग किया मैंने. सो all in all, the way it's coming out of the hand is something that I should be happy with, and as a bowler, I'm at ease with myself.
स्पोर्ट्स से जुड़ी किसी भी अपडेट के लिए स्पोर्ट्स तक को सब्सक्राइब करें और हमारे फेसबुक और इंस्टाग्राम पेज को भी जरूर फॉलो करें.